Obviously, Xabi Alonso is free and available, unattached, although probably wondering what the hell's happened to his life in the last few months. Maybe a bit of a jilted lover vibe from Real Madrid and all that type of stuff. But the talk around Liverpool right now, if you're in this city, if you're talking to Liverpool fans outside of this city, his name is on everybody's lips. It's been on mine, you know. People have been texting me out the blue. What about him? You know, people just want to talk about Xabi Alonso because he's a club legend. So I think it's important that we do. And I will say from the off, I love Xabi Alonso. I absolutely do. I don't know whether his football is significantly different to Slot for me to want to just go, let's go. If I'm being totally honest, would I, if Liverpool sacked Slot, want Alonso in charge? Yeah, absolutely. I would, because he's a great tactical manager and everything else. I actually prefer Enrique because, I mean, that video of him shouting at Mbappe and telling him how to lead and how to press, and this is when he was leaving and all that type of stuff, that is what I think is integral to me as a football fan. And so I can look at that and go, that trumps him playing for Liverpool. That trumps his style of football for me, Enrique. But interested to get your take on both of those names.
I prefer Enrique for what it's worth, but I think both of them I would have an interest in appointing, and that's what makes this situation now really delicate, because previous months, especially when we were getting hammered, one of the main reasons why I was in the camp of like, you keep him, don't sack him, that sort of thing, it's not the solution, is because one of the main reasons was because the alternatives. Who else do you get? Sort of vibe. And some people in the space. Yeah, exactly, there you go. Steve Holland, mate. Yeah, exactly.
On, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But there's some people like on the Liverpool scene saying like sack him sort of thing. And then he was saying like, you know, getting asked who'd you replace him with, and he was like, that's not my job. What?
The other half of those people were saying Gerrard, and I was like, my word, what a legend. There's no one bigger. But really?
Yeah, exactly. But the people who said it's not my job, I would sack him, but then the replacing him part isn't my job. The replacements...
Well, the sacking him's not your job either.
Yeah. But finding a replacement is a massive... has a massive impact on whether sacking him is the right decision. So that's what makes it a bit different now. The fact that sacking him no longer feels as dangerous, because the prospect of getting worse isn't quite as high if you've got Alonso available and if you could get Enrique to Anfield. Those two I would have an interest in, as I've said, and previously there was no one attainable that I would have had an interest in. So if I'm Slot, I'm seeing Alonso free, I'm seeing Enrique not signing contracts,
potentially Nagelsmann might be on a list,
Nagelsmann as well at Germany, and I'm seeing no backing in the January window. I'm feeling a little bit wobbly, feeling a little bit paranoid, probably.
That grass over there is looking particularly green. Type of vibes.
Yeah. and I did speak to someone as well who's quite prominent on the Liverpool's scene, and I really value his opinion as well. And he made a good point and said, like, it might just make sense for everyone if at the end of the season Slot gets Liverpool top 4, having previously won the league with Liverpool. Solid job, he's viewed as a safe pair of hands, and he gets off. Then if another high profile job comes available, like Barcelona, I think Flick is coming to the end, Slot's Dutch, probably a dream job for him. Slot would be viewed as a realistic candidate, whereas if he stays at Liverpool and next season's worse and he gets sacked or something halfway through it, his reputation's a bit more at risk then. And you've also got the Diogo stuff, where, like, you know, maybe on the back of that you would benefit from just clean slate, start again. And you've got the Salah stuff. I think Salah probably leaves at the end of the season. Slot has kind of been the guy who he's clashed with in that process. Again, cut ties, fresh start, and you start next season almost without Salah and without Slot. I think that's a realistic avenue to go down. But this is the thing. There's lots at play. Lots of... You're at the five ways. You know what I mean? There's loads of routes you can take. So we could end up anywhere, to be honest. But
the only other thing to sort of maybe add into this, I don't know whether the director of football takes this away, but I'm sure a manager would like to be involved in the process of recruitment for this squad. And you do kind of limit the options by keeping with Slot there.
Well, that again, that's a problem. I would flip that and say, from the perspective of Hughes, from the perspective of Edwards, I would say Slot is ideal for them because he doesn't kick up a fuss. He is within the structure that they've created. He come from Feyenoord, so he's not like if you get Enrique in and he's got the profile that he's just conquered the world with PSG. It might be a bit harder to get him in and to expect him to just kind of conform. Do you get what I mean? I think Slot is really, really good with the media. He hasn't done any of the Maresca stuff lately, any of the Amarum stuff lately, where he's like just started at Civil War or anything. So I think Slot's ideal for this kind of model, to be honest. But he just needs to do a bit of a better job with the team.
But what does that mean for, like, let's say you sack Slot. You bring a manager in with a viewpoint of, you've got to get us top four, but we're also planning next season. If you said, let's go shake hands at the end of the season, the new manager doesn't have that bedding in time, does he?
Well, I think if Liverpool did do it, if a change did happen, Alonso ends up in charge, Enrique ends up in charge, whatever, I don't think it happens in the middle of the season. I think Slot is virtually guaranteed to get the season. Then something might happen. Then you might shake hands, things like that, and then you go from there. But the idea of it happening in the middle of the campaign, I think, is real. I think if that was ever going to happen, it happens after PSV. It's not going to get worse than that. The way we've started playing now, just a lot safer and stuff like that. We're not going to get hammered by three games in a row again, with two of them being at Anfield against weaker opposition. So the time to sack him has passed, probably. In the middle of the season, that is. At the end of the campaign, as I said, he's got a year left on his contract at that point. His family still live in the Netherlands. The Barcelona job potentially comes available. Real Madrid haven't got a head coach at the moment. You know, I don't know. I can see movements and stuff like that, but I'm still, I don't know about you, I'd be interested to get your thoughts, but I'm still mostly in the camp for now of, I think he's still fine. Whether you want more than fine, you know, I don't know, but if you look at his job as a whole so far, he's got us a Premier League title by a distance. We got knocked out of the Champions League by the eventual winners, and this season we're currently around fourth. If you'd have put Pep Guardiola in charge of this squad, if you'd have put Jurgen Klopp in charge of this squad, I think we'd be about fourth, personally. You know, if you don't think that, whatever, but that's roughly what I think. So I think his job so far, I think the job he's done is pretty good overall. But where are you?
Slightly different but very similar. I don't know whether his job's secure yet, because I think if we were to end up 6 points, maybe 7 points behind fourth, then they might do something.
In the middle of the season?
I just don't think they want to lose Champions League football. I think if they get to a point where, you don't think you're going to get Champions League football and you've got time left to rectify that, they may do something. And it's almost like the F1. Sometimes you can be on the wrong tyre strategy. You have to go to those new tyres with 15 laps to go, so that you can actually, the difference between your new tyres and the person in front's old tyres, you've got to give them laps to catch them. Sometimes you can just change your tyres too late and you don't give the guy a chance. And I wonder whether that might be something for Liverpool, because everything is built around that Champions League money nowadays. Yeah,
the only thing I'd say on that is, if they were so fearful of losing Champions League football, I think you would see some sort of backing this month, where he gets in Gay early, or we're in the battle for Semenyo, or, I mean, there's 15 days or so left, you might still see it, but the fact that we haven't moved,
it's a good point,
suggests that we're not that worried. And And I'm not that worried either, to be honest. I think, again, we've been as bad. I think we've hit the floor at this season already. And we're fourth still. We're still fourth. And some of the games lately, we should have won. You know, there's been a few draws in there, we should have won them. So, I'd be very surprised if we finish lower than fourth.
My point was, if we get to a position, I think they still might. Rather than I think we're going to get to a position where we're sixth, do you know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, I do think he's probably pretty secure if we just carry on doing what we're doing. It would be interesting, you know, from a personal point of view, I think we do need to see improvements on the pitch. I think that has to happen, doesn't it? So yeah, that was a clip from the deep dive. To check out the whole show, simply download the Redmen Plus app or click the link in the description.